Good Monday morning, everyone. Oh my gosh, welcome July. Where did the year go, you guys? Oh my goodness. But
So fast.
you're listening to Author Talk with me, Aimee, Russell, and Valerie. It is just us today, and we're just checking in. We have a lot of upcoming events happening this fall. I know I have a lot, and I will be a crazy mad woman like I usually am in the fall. So it's been crazy. But let's talk about weekends. So this weekend was my birthday weekend. My birthday was yesterday. I know, craziness. So, my sister and her family came down to visit on Friday. My mom and dad came on Saturday. Now, they all came to visit because they were going on a cruise that left the day of my birthday. So then they drove down to Galveston after coming in and seeing me. So they left on Sunday. And then me and Josh have been hit and miss since like May. And so we just relaxed at home. So the neighborhood
Why
pool
not?
opened. I took the girls to the pool because it has a splash pad attached to it and they really wanted to go. So we went and did that. And then our neighborhood was doing their 4th of July party on my birthday and they had face painting. And I don't know who doesn't take a 4 and 3-year-old to get face paint. That's definitely what I did. I did that.
Mhm.
And they had a big foam, cannon. So they went and they were covered in bubbles and just had a lot of fun. And then the girls and Josh made me a angel food cake is one of the things that I can have with my IC. And so they made me that and turned into a layered cake with whipped cream in the middle, which I can have, which is
That might be
fabulous.
better than most cakes.
Yeah.
It was so nice. So it was naked on the outside and had whipped cream in the middle of each layer, and then they put blueberries and strawberries on top. I have a
That
photo
sounds
and
perfect.
I'll post it, but it was just the sweetest little thing. And so we honestly just had like a fun kind of relaxing because we've just been going. So it was a lot of fun to do that and to see my family. And then I can still talk to them on the cruise, which is new for me. On Carnival, I can't do that, but they're on Royal Caribbean. So I still can text them and stuff. So it's like I'm there because it's a big family cruise. So everyone else in my family went. And we're still adjusting, we're still unpacking, which evidently everyone has told me that this is going to take years, and I'm not about that life. So we're going to get it done, okay, before the end of July, because Aimee can't live like this, okay? No, not by any means. But before we dive into everyone else's weekend, I do want to touch on this. I did a book launch 5 days before my birthday, so last Tuesday. I did a book launch for Dan Flanagan, and his book was An American Tragedy. And it is a series, the Peter O'Keefe series, which is a mystery thriller crime novel. And I love book launches. They are incredibly stressful. They are very stressful for me. Okay. Stressful in all of the right ways. So, every book launch that I've done has been a lot of fun, whether we've hit number one or not. It's been a lot of fun, but it doesn't mean that they don't come with their ups and downs. And so here's Aimee. Okay, I'm going to talk about myself in third person. I had a mini heart attack with this book launch. And the funny story is I was harassing the other promotional sites in which I use because I was like, hey, we're not moving. We're not moving. I'm kind of having a mild heart attack over here. And it was just one of those crazy experiences. And then they write me back and they're like, Aimee, we've been through this. We know how this rolls. Why are you having this heart attack? Right. And so I was having a heart attack. I called Josh. Okay. And you guys all understand. Josh doesn't know shit about what I do. He tries to tell people what I do. And he's like, she does stuff with books. He has no idea. So I'm just venting to him at this point. And he's like, so is this a bad thing? Like he has no idea. So then he called me because Josh was also out of town last week, right? So I'm hot mess single parenting it, doing this book launch, running around like a hot mess. And he called me that night and he said, so what happened? My book did not hit number one that night, you guys. I was freaking out. I stayed up all night checking the rankings because it's stressful and fun for me. It did not hit number one until 3 a.m. You bet your ass. I called Josh at 3 a.m. and woke him up and was like, holy shit, my book hit number one. Josh, oh my God. And he was just like, Aimee, it's 3 a.m. I don't care. I'm like, I care. Josh. So, needless to say, book launches are a family event. Okay. And I will call at 3 in the morning and wake Josh up if your book hits number 1. So, it was dedication, a lot of fun. That stress part is fun for me. I know I'm weird, but it's fun for me. Josh is not
You're not weird. You're not weird. You're dedicated. You just said it.
No, she's weird. She's weird.
I'm straight weird.
I don't know, Aimee. I feel like I would do the same thing. I would be right there with you.
Well,
You might, Valerie, but you're kind of weird too.
Oh, well, that's how we roll. My birthday was last week, so we're kind of like the same zodiac. I feel like we're in that same zone.
I love it. I love it. I'm telling you. But yeah, Josh did not necessarily appreciate my 3 a.m. phone call, but I did. I felt like he needed to be in it. Okay. So craziness of book launches.
Share that joy.
I'm telling you. But what all did you guys do? I'm sure you guys had eventful, chaotic weekends, and I'm ready to dive into them. So who wants to go?
Go, Valerie.
Okay, it was a little crazy. My mom, I don't know if I told you guys, but she's moving back here to Houston from Centerville. So the house she's been living in Centerville, they've been there quite a while. And so Saturday was the work day, and they have a big country property. So we had the barn, we had the pastures, we had the house. Somebody was cutting on the tractor. We were just boxing and packing and chunking, and the keep, the donate, the trash, all that, whatever. That was a whole day. We thought we're gonna leave at 3. No, we didn't leave till 6:30.
Oh God, you were 3.5 hours behind schedule.
Yeah, and that was with like how many people came with us? Like 5 people came with us, or whatever, 4, and we were all like. But then, you know what? Sunday was a good day. It was a very chill day. It was my friends and I that I've known for like 15 years from my kids' school, and we all had a double birthday brunch. So drinking, food, presents. How could you go wrong, right? So we had to reward ourselves from working so hard, and that was good. Had a nice espresso martini.
Oh, okay. I like it. Kept you going. I like it.
Yeah, so that was a great way to do Sunday with beignets and martinis and all that good stuff.
Well, yeah, because you sweat your ass off the day before, so you deserve.
Girl, I was like, I'm so sore everywhere. But it was really, the best thing was we found so many cool keepsakes. Just like, wow, we found my mom's baptism certificate, her first communion certificate, pictures when she was a baby. Just how cool is that, And so
that is actually cool. That's cool.
That's why it took so long.
I bought home a whole box of pictures I'm going to try to save and reproduce. That's my next project.
So that's cool. It's not worth all that moving, but it's cool.
I love that.
That was only the first day. We have many more days to go.
Okay. I won't. What my weekend I want to talk about is a little weird first. I put in on the author page, and if you are not a member of the AuthorTalk Facebook page, you should do it, because you can see all of our previous shows. It's not like YouTube where you can pick out, you can go to our YouTube page and you can pick out any of them. But on anniversaries of interviews, we post them and a few other things. And yesterday I posted, everyone wished the magnificent Aimee a very peaceful, happy birthday. And we received on our page on that all these wonderful listeners, just a ton of them, wishing Aimee a happy birthday. It was very nice. Jeff Hicks and Randy Stevens and Roger Leslie and Sharon Jenkins and Kevin Petaway. A lot of these names will sound familiar. A lot of them have been on our show. Some of them are just great listeners. Anthony Harris, Marianne, James Hill. Whoever's posting for the Greg Con Hour Kelso posted a happy birthday. And that was nice. It made me, because I know how much Aimee misses and loved Greg. And so I thought that was nice. Yeah. And it just goes on of people wishing Aimee happy birthday. And I thought that was nice.
Oh my God. We have so many comments. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God.
And they were all nice.
That's because they love me. I am a nice person. I feel like I'm
He's
like
very lovable. Look at her, that face. How could you not love that face?
Well, there are many faces of Aimee. It's like Dr.
Yeah.
Lau.
I'm very
The
I'm
many
very
faces
different on
of
the
Dr.
phone.
Lau. That
Yeah.
was an old Tony Randall movie.
I remember that movie. I remember it.
Yes.
Oh
You have to
my-
be old to remember that, Valerie.
I'm
You should not
old.
admit
I'm
that.
old. I'm bona fide. Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
We'll have to look it up for you.
Anyway, it made me happy. You know,
Yeah.
we have so many friends out there on our page that wished you happy birthday. So that was a nice thing.
Yeah.
I want to thank the people that listen to us on our podcast. We're top 10 in America of independent podcasts. We're very grateful about it, and we're very grateful you listen to us. It used to be where I could not find our podcast page on the channels, and this went on for months and months, and Aimee kept trying to tell me where it was, and I couldn't find it. And then she went on this tear of increasing our CEI number. Is that the right way to pronounce it? Our CEI numbers on YouTube, and she started changing some things. And she changed the author talk for the first time in like 8 years. Up to that time, it had never been changed, maybe once, to what it is now. And all of a sudden, you can find it. It's easy to find. Aimee, how do people find us on our podcast?
Well, you can find us anywhere that you can look for a podcast. My go-to is Amazon, Spotify, Google Play if you're an iPhone, Apple. All of those is where I go to find podcasts. But literally anywhere that you can look up a podcast is where you can find us. You type in Author Talk and you'll see the crimson, red, and gold, which are my favorite. Okay, my favorite. Maybe this is why Russell can find it, because now it's so vibrant and just wonderful. And click on that and you will see all of our episodes. In the 8 years, we're coming up on 9 in January that the show's kind of been around. So it's been a lot of fun and growth. It's been fun.
Oh, okay, I do have a question for you. You mentioned how the fall is going to be chaotic for you.
Yes.
And I know, and Valerie knows, that you have already planned everything out. So, what is it that you have planned for the fall and winter for both your company and AuthorTalk?
Oh, man. Okay. So in October, I will be in North Carolina. I get the North and South mixed up. Okay. But I will be in one of the Carolinas in October at the first in-person Women in Publishing book marketing event. I will be speaking and have a table there in October. So be on the lookout for that. And then you guys, you all know we do the 12 days of page turners. That's happening in December. We generally kind of start preparing that now. So I will be in the production stages of preparing that for this year. That happens the first 12 days of December. Other things that I'm not in is the Houston Writers Guild has their Authorpalooza or Indie Palooza happening also in October. I have a lot of launches coming out. Russell's book will be coming out in October. So be on the lookout for that book because it is going to be coming out and the pre-order is going to start sometime this month. So be on the lookout for that.
Wow. I guess we need to talk business then about that.
Yeah, we do. And so, yes, for sure. And then, yes. So those are just all of the things. Now, next year around my birthday, I potentially may be in Las Vegas at the Historical Fiction Novel Society Conference that is happening in Las Vegas. I will be teaching some classes and just having a fun birthday in Las Vegas because it takes place my weekend birthday. So,
What happened to the 6-day camp out and hike in Hawaii?
Russell, I bought a house.
That's the answer. Okay. That is a legitimate answer. That is a legitimate answer.
Well, yes, but I will say this, right? We all know my husband doesn't listen to my shows. Russell, you know this. Josh doesn't listen to my shows. Josh will be 30 on Saturday. So it is his big 3-0 birthday party. He did not want me to throw him a party. He gave me such crap for it, so I am not. But his goal that he will be doing, that I will keep all of you guys updated, is he wants to hike 30 miles for his birthday. Not on his birthday, because it's hot as hell here. Okay, so not on his birthday, but sometime before the end of the year, he wants to go on a weekend trip and hike 30 miles for his 30th birthday.
But so where?
He will do that. I'm not 100% sure. He likes the Sam Houston National Forest. He likes Davy Crockett, and he likes the one that is up in Austin, not Gorman Falls, but one kind of close to there. That's about 20.
Maybe Marble Falls?
No, it does like a loop. I went and did my backpack rodeo with him on this trail, and I made it 11 miles, which is what I needed for the Hawaiian trip. And Josh was all like, no, we have to do. I'm like, you can't prepare for humidity unless I just go and do something in like Houston. But even then, it's different humidity there than in Hawaii. So I would rather just go and do it. But according to Josh, I have to be this Olympic athlete and all of this. And I'm just like, I just want to get out there and do the damn thing. Like I'm not one to prepare for something. I'm one to just get out there and do the shit because it's going to be
okay. That's not true. That's not true.
Okay, when
you are anal compulsive when it comes to preparation.
Yes.
That's why you're so good at what you do.
And
right?
work I am. And work I'm very anal about certain things.
And that's what's important. Right?
Yeah, but when it
comes also
to
unpacking, you might be a little compulsive.
Oh, God,
yes, that's okay.
Me and Josh cannot unpack the house together. It's in stages. We just cannot. But when it comes to these kinds of things that he wants to go and do, I'm not going to train months for it. I want to get on a plane and get it done while mentally I'm just like, man, I'm going to do this. Because if not, and I start preparing for it, I will talk myself out of it. Like, that's the problem. You can't do these things with me. Like, I have to do fly by the seat of my pants when it comes to those things.
Those things. You get to be chaotic about some things because you're not about most of the important stuff, right? It's like when I play pickleball, it drives everyone crazy because I don't care who wins. Yeah. When they say, especially my wife, who's a wacko about pickleball and winning, my response is always, it's pickleball. Yeah, it's not important.
That's how I am.
And which makes her so pissed off.
I love it. I love it though, because Josh is like, no, we're out for blood. And I'm like, but are we really? Like, are we? Like, I don't really care.
Just put a book launch in front of Aimee. Now she's out for blood.
Yeah, then it's like,
and she's going to call you at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's so good, Valerie.
Don't play with me when it comes to those things. Because I don't know. I'm sure that you guys are like this too in your book launches, whether I do it or not. But if you have set it up for all this success and it just doesn't go, and you have people like, I will have promoters that try to get me to change categories, right? They email me and they're like, hey, you would do better in this category. It has nothing to pertain to the book, so we don't do it, right? We generally will stick in bigger categories if we can't narrow it down, right? And so nothing makes me more mad. I guess this is Aimee's pissed off segment, okay? Wait. Yes,
I forgot so much. Thank you for bringing that up. Because it's a new segment of our show. Valerie missed it last week when she exploded at the end of the day. Is the new segment. There are so many. I've got so many suggestions. Aimee's angry. Blah blah blah. I can't think of the third one, but all sorts of alliterations. And the Angry's pissed off segment. What is Angry pissed off about this weekend?
Okay. Nothing. Just. I mean, it grinds my gears. Okay, I feel like that's a nice one. It grinds Aimee's gears. But I will have promotional sites. So when you set up your book for a book launch, right? A recap of how you do it. You leverage different promotional sites and their email lists and their reach on top of your own for success, right? So you line all those things up. You coordinate all of those, which is stressful and fun, and I love it. So I will have some of the promotional sites come back a couple days before the book goes live. And they're like, hey, you would do better in these categories. You're only going to get top 20 and this category that you're in. So we need to switch categories. And I'm generally always like, yeah, no, hell no, we're not doing that. We're going to stick to this category. And if we only get top 23, hey, you know what? That's better than being 750,000, right? So let's do it. So I will generally stick with that. Now, it's stressful when you get those emails for me. Like, it really irks me because I'm like, no, like, I know these categories are good. I know that this fits the book and the genre of the book, and it's legit. So if people purchase this book, it's fitting to the genre that they want. I'm not just changing categories to build ranking, right? So when I do those and they're like, well, you're not going to hit higher than this, and it just doesn't work, and la. Nothing makes me more mad because I'm like, I've done this for such a long time that I'm not going to change it. And then I have this sweet satisfaction. This is where I guess I'm out for blood of when they hit number 1 and they have to tell me and send me all their screenshots because it's done it internationally. And they have to actually tell me, well, it's done better than we thought. Oh, I love that. I love that. I thrive on that feeling.
You could print those out and just have like a little binder, Aimee. I told you so.
They're all in a folder. They're all in a folder. And I'm just like, times that I beat the odds is the name of the folder. And yes. Oh my, I love it. But nothing really makes me more mad. I mean, last time having me book a call with you because you want to collaborate with me and then have your assistant cancel and say like, oh, they're not open. That really makes me mad. Like, I will talk about that for a long time. That really makes me mad.
Was there another part of the story this week from that?
No, because
so they never called back?
I sent an email. Okay, so this is how Aimee can be if you piss Aimee off. Okay, like just straight
I hate pissed off Aimee. I got the crowd. The audience needs to know there's few things worse than pissed off Aimee.
I know. So, okay, when it comes to business things, yeah, well, when it comes to business things, I don't play because when it comes to business,
right,
that's time away from my kids. I don't play with my time away from my kids, right? So on LinkedIn, I get a lot of DMs on LinkedIn wanting to collaborate and all these things. I don't follow up with most of them if they're spammy or they're sponsored messages. I won't follow up with those. But if it's like legit, me and you have connections, we are actually LinkedIn friends and all those things, we're in the same kind of industry, I will follow up with you like 100%. I'm an open book. I'm open to collaborating and doing those things. I think it's beneficial for all authors.
Yes, and I can actually represent that Aimee actually returns text these days too.
I do, especially to Russell. I do return text messages now. So anyway, when I get a message like that and it's like, oh, you know, I see what you're doing, what I do, and I think we could complement each other. Let's have a call to schedule how we can work at best for authors. So when I did that and I had booked it, I received an email like the night before this call was supposed to happen from the assistant to the person that says, oh, if this is a call just to talk about your services, she's not in the market for that. So I'm just going to cancel this call. That pissed me off because I was like, you hounded me for 3 months, literally 3 months. Cause you guys know I don't go on LinkedIn that very often. So you have to kind of hound me if you want my attention. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It's just true. And so for 3 months, I was getting these messages. So then I finally followed up. I was like, okay, it's legit. I followed up. So to get that email, you bet I went and screenshotted my conversation and how I was the one that was being like harassed to book a call to have these things. I didn't solicit this conversation. I sent that to this person and said, you've wasted my time and I don't appreciate it. And then I screenshotted the email in which I received from assistant and sent it to the lady that had reached out to me and said, I don't appreciate these. My time is just as valuable as yours. And it is a true statement. And I feel like it's not fair to do those things. So if you're just mass sending out, listen, I get it. I'm in social media. I understand. But when people actually respond, when you're the one inquiring about their services, don't waste their time because I don't have time to be wasted. So don't do that. That really
I totally agree because I get the same thing even with my blog and all that stuff. And I'm just like, no.
It's going to make it where someone is really going to reach out to me wanting to to collaborate. And because I've had this experience, I'm not going to respond to anybody. Not that that's going to happen, because I am just an open book and whatever.
We have bigger and better things to do.
Okay. I do have a question for Valerie too. Now that we finished Aimee's pissed off section.
Yeah.
Wait till next week. There'll be something new she'll be pissed off about.
Maybe
Don't know. We hope
it's
it's not Josh. That's all I have to say. As long as it's not Josh, it's okay.
Okay.
So Valerie, you have been our co-host now for several months. How long has it been? 6 months? How long has it been, Aimee?
I don't know.
It's been a while.
I think it might have been since last fall.
Okay, so I have no idea. I can't believe it's July. So
I'm here for the good time.
So, what has surprised you most about being a host?
I really love. I don't know if I'm surprised by anything, but I really do love hearing the process from the authors about, and just their drive, and then how we can just kind of push that story forward. That's my favorite part of it. But I really do love, going back and learning new things from everybody, because God knows I don't know half the stuff you guys know. Y'all are amazing. And especially Aimee. Aimee's like off the top. But
she was just speaking Mandarin to us when she was talking about all the leveraging and promoting the book. She went into Mandarin.
She has like a master's degree in this or something, or PhD. Dr. Aimee. We're gonna call her Dr. Aimee from now on.
I like it.
If I have a question, I'm talking to Dr.
I prefer pissed off Aimee to Dr. Aimee, though.
No. She's at that level of expertise. But I really do think that all my time on here, I have just been fascinated by the stories of the processes, how things come to be, and then just the stories that these authors have created, and their willingness to just get out there and go. Nobody is holding anything back. No one on this show holds anything back.
We don't, but sometimes some of our authors do. That's why you have to put a little crowbar and get things going.
I think though, once they start getting comfortable with us, they're like, yeah, let's go. We're going to tell the whole story. This is your chance. Let us help you, and, share your good news, good vibes, whatever. But it's good. I just really, every time I'm on here, it's like a joyful moment.
The weird format now. And I've discussed on the show that I'm doing several shows a week, other podcasts, interviewing for my next book, Murder by Storm, that's coming out in October. And so there are so many interesting things that now that we've done this podcast for 9 years. It's evolved. To be frank, when I see something over the years that's really good, or I have an idea, I always suggest it. So that's why the show, that's part of how the show's evolved. And then Aimee, as she's become such a professional and expert on these things, has made it evolve different ways. One of the things is the way that the show functions, the three of us with an author, and how we make it kind of a coffee talk thing. Frankly, that's unusual. I've come across a couple of shows like that, but usually they're written questions that they read and they ask you, and then they read the next one. Whereas ours flows naturally, going off into tangents and arguments and attacking each other, and it's just a different chemistry, and I love that.
Yeah, I feel like we're very organic here. Just like it, just like you said, just goes and goes and goes, and one thing leads to another.
So, is there anything, Valerie, now that you've been here between 4 or 6 months, however long it's been, that you think that we could do better, or you've seen that we don't do that you thought we might do?
Ooh. I don't know what we could do better, but I feel like we really do showcase the author's, just vision, and that's what we're trying to do anyway, is showcase them and just how the process came to be. Because if they put all their heart and soul into this, then why, they need to, we're trying to help them get the word out. And for me as an author, that is golden. That is so appreciative. I appreciate that so much. I think in terms of doing something better, I don't know. We really bring out the newest, the latest, all kinds of genres. We have great discussions. I don't know if we could be better. We're pretty damn good.
Oh, I love it.
Hold on.
How about you, Amy? Yeah, what do you think?
Me? Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay. I've done shows, like other people's shows and stuff myself. And I don't know, you guys. I really like the way that we do it. Now, I understand doing intro music and all of that. That's great. Not everybody has my energy at 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Yes. So, but I like it. I'll tell you what I don't like that other shows do that we don't do, that I appreciate that we don't do these. I'm not one to have the questions ahead of time to prepare myself. I feel like I come across more genuine and authentic when it's more just in a like organic conversation. Like, you don't really know me, right? Yeah, you've looked over my website or you've heard me talk somewhere else, which is fabulous, but you don't really know me, right? So I like to just organically let the conversation flow instead of having, hey, I'm going to ask you these 15 questions and have like quick responses to it. I don't like that. And I don't like fast-paced shows either that are like 10 to 15 minutes long. They try to cram an hour worth of stuff.
That is so hard.
Yeah, I cannot mentally do that because I literally feel like I'm in a whirlwind and I don't know what happened. And I don't thrive in those kinds of environments, to be honest. So I like just the more organic kind of feel, which, Russell, is what you wanted when you and Sandy talked about it. You really just wanted it to be a conversation and really get to know the author, why they wrote their book, the reason behind it, right? Which I think is important. And not a lot of people talk about that. They may be like, oh, how did it come about? Why'd you pick this genre? All of those kinds of things. But it's not the story behind the author becoming the person becoming the author, right? Which I feel like as readers is what everybody really wants to know. So those are things I appreciate that we do and that we don't.
And yeah, and also, like, even when I do personal appearances and stuff, that's what people want to know. They want to know, like, they want to meet you and know you. And I feel like we bring that to the audience through this podcast, because like you said, we're not rushing. We're just having a nice chat. They can talk about the book. They can talk about their family. We talk about all kinds of things, and how all the pieces fall in place to bring about this fabulous work of art, of literature.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes
I do have to admit, there are questions that I have stolen that I thought, that's a good question. That's a question we should ask every week. Like last week, the last question I asked our author, who was a very interesting lady, was, what was she reading right then?
That's a good one.
And she went in, she got very excited about it. Turned out to really work as a question to get to know her a little bit more. So I like that. The question that the question I've hated the most in the last month that I was asked, if I was an island, what would I look like?
An island?
Yes.
Why would they ask me that?
You're going to be sand and maybe have a mountain. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. That's kind of bizarre.
Now, here's a good question I was asked. And I would like for both of you to answer this question. And that is, this was an English station that asked me this. Okay. If there was something you could correct for the people to teach in America in high school better or differently or in addition to, rather than what they do, what would it be?
How does that apply to your book, first of all?
It didn't.
Man, oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm sorry. This is not a political show or a government. Oh, that I was trying to stay on topic, at least somewhere in that field. That's a tangent off the.
Man, but I really like that.
And it was, and actually I circled it around and brought it back because as you know, I have this thing about Shakespeare. I can go on and on about Shakespeare. It was an English station. So I went on and on about the incorrect way they teach Shakespeare in America and how they should teach it. And the guy just looked at me like, what?
There you go.
I really like that question though. Like, because you can go and like make it political if your book is about politics, which is great.
Right.
It opens up that floor. But if it's not about politics, right, then it just kind of shines light, right? Like for me, oh my gosh, there's so many different things. In other countries and in other cultures, I mean, these people are speaking like 5, 6 different languages, like fluently. And we are only required to take 2 years of a language. Now, I picked French thinking it was going to be easy, and I
picked French too.
I should have picked Spanish, to be honest. I should have picked Spanish.
And see, I should have picked French so I could have read Proust in the original.
See?
I regret.
Yeah, but if your book is about like inspiration and motivation and all of those things, you can tie that question into like, you know, I think that, I mean, I don't know, this is off the top of my head, but like, it shouldn't be so fixated on necessarily achieving a high GPA or high grades, because once you finish college, that doesn't mean shit.
You mean your high school grades don't matter once you get into college, right?
I mean,
is that what you're saying?
I mean, I understand the point to have them, right? To get into a good college, you know, you need a good GPA and all of those things. But I'm also one of those that like, once you graduate college, no one asks you on the street what your GPA was or anything.
In high school.
Yeah. But they also, I feel like they should teach more things like when my oldest sister went to school, right? So she's 7 years older than I am, to put this in perspective. They were teaching things like how to balance a checkbook, how to manage your finances. I think teaching real world things that you're really going to need to know, I think is more beneficial, right? Than textbook smart. Because you have textbook smart and common sense smart, right? We should combine the two. But I love that question because you can gear it towards absolutely any genre of.
So steal the question.
It's a good question.
Yes, steal it.
Yeah, so steal it.
Yeah.
I would say there was so much emphasis on just like being well-rounded, you know, but then you're like, but do you know how to do this? Do you know how to do that? And it's almost like sometimes kids, they need to focus more on just like becoming good at certain things. And then you can be more well-rounded, I guess, in different ways. I don't know. I just, for me, it was my senior year. That's when programming started coming out, and they made us write computer programs. I was like, in my life, I will never be writing a computer program. I promise you. Right. I promise you. Can I please just read another book and write you a paper? Can I do this? But it was required. But I mean, now.
See, you don't know that, Valerie. I remember in college learning to solve for 2 equations. Do you remember that?
Yes, and I love.
And I remember
all that stuff. I loved the math. I loved the science. And I mean, actually, I was considering going into like the medical field, but I was like, that's a lot of math. That's a lot of science. And I was like, I'm probably going to have better luck doing this. But it was just, it's I think if nothing else, high school gives you a chance to figure out what you're good at and maybe what you like, so you can choose a path. And I don't know. There's so many different ways that they have all these. The schools have evolved now with coding and specialties and getting your associate's degree while you're in high school, and it's incredible. It's incredible what kids get to have the opportunity to do now.
Isn't that crazy? So my niece is one that's getting her associate's degree and her high school diploma together.
Yes.
That is so smart. As her parents, they should be so proud and thankful of her. They're saving a fortune.
It's crazy though. The like one, like the things that she's learning, right, which is cool, but just the amount, like the like pressure, you know, that's on that in and of itself, right? I don't know. See, this is a psychology person. I'm like, yeah, that's really fabulous, but then you have all of this pressure, mental health going with that, expectations, those kinds of things, right? So that's probably not a good question for me, because I could go on and on about just all of this. So yeah, but I like the question. That's a really good question. You can tie it into anything.
Okay, here's another question.
Oh, okay.
And this is a hard question. I hate this question, and it's asked every interview just about. Unless it's one of those interviews where they only read written down questions and they never get to it.
Okay.
Is why did it take you so long to write your first book?
Oh,
I get that question a lot actually from kids. Like, how long did it take you? I was like, do you really want to know?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But see, that's a really good question. So the way that I ask that question is I usually ask it in a sense of how long has the story been in development, right?
That's a better rephrasing. Yes.
Yeah, because if you say like, how long has this been in process or whatever, then when they say like 10 years and you're like, oh man, why do I want to read it? It's old, right? When you think about it, because if you're writing, I don't know, hold on, let me explain that. If you're writing a futuristic book and you started 10 years ago, you probably need to change it now, right? Because some of the things that probably already happened, you're like, well, that's not futuristic anymore, right? So the way that I word that question, because I do like that question, I know that you don't, but I do, is because it gives you a sense of the author's dedication to the book and their genre that they're writing. So I'll ask them that. Yeah. And then I'll be like, okay, so what kind of research went into it, right? Which is weird to ask someone that writes in fiction, because you're like, why is there research? You're creating the story. But you read other stories to help you in terms of, if you're doing fantasy, make sure that you're on the right track, or if you want to incorporate different things within it. So you read a lot of those things to help you in your own creative juices and story building. Absolutely. Right. And so I love those two questions, because you really get to hear like the dedication. Because if someone tells you, oh yeah, I knocked this book out in 6 months, and you're like, okay, so then you jumped on the bandwagon and you just rapid released, or what's happening, right? So
I'm always amazed too by people who are under contract and they're like, I have to do a book a year. I'm like, holy crap, that's amazing. You must be constantly like, and then just churning. They're just churning it. I was like, that's incredible. That's dedication.
I feel like you can have really interesting conversations around that, because if, like what Valerie said, if you have a 1 year, you have to put out a book, at least a book a year, right? So then you can tie in, okay, well, what happens if you get writer's fatigue? And what happens if you don't have a story that comes, but you're held to contract? What do you do? Right? So then you can kind of help elaborate on okay, it took you 10 years, but now you're under contract. So what happens when your stories stop coming? What do you do?
Hemingway actually wrote about that. Hemingway said, when you're like that, write one good word, then write another one.
But how many people live by that?
Yes. What?
How many people live by that?
Oh, nobody.
Yeah, see?
But if you got to do it, you got to do it. I mean, wasn't there a Stephen King movie about this? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But see, so I mean, you can word it differently than the way that it was worded, but it opens up the conversation to get to know the author deeper. Right. So I actually really like that question, Russell. I know that you don't, but I love it.
Well, we both know the last thing I want is to get too deep.
I know. Russell's a surface. You only get to know him on the surface.
Right. That's enough.
Surface. Yeah.
Yeah. Surface. It's only skin deep. That's deep enough.
Yeah. There you go. You don't need to know nothing else. We're all good for sure. But I think that one, one interesting one, because I know some podcasts will do this, right? And then we can wrap up. They will ask you an off the wall question. So Russell, kind of like you had, what island would you be? Right? Which is off the wall. I have had one ask me, if I could come back as an animal, what animal would it be? What animal would it not be? And why? Right? Which is, I don't know. It's off the wall, because I would come back as a panther. Like, that's my thing. I'd come back as a Black Panther, 100%. But I also, this is going to sound really weird. It's like a fun fact that you get to know about me. I love blonde cows. And I told my daughters that one time. I was like, Mommy loves blonde cows. So I took them to the bathroom in this really country, restaurant. There was a picture of a cow. And my daughter looks at it and she's like, Mom, look, it's you. Anybody else would be offended. Any other mother would be like, oh, that's great. You're calling me a cow. But I love blonde cows. So it was hard to pick between a panther or blonde cows, because my personality is very much a panther personality. So it kind of like cleanses your palate, kind of going into it, which I can see. But I'm really grateful that we don't ask those because I don't want to cleanse my palate. Their genre and them talking kind of cleanses it for me. So I like that we don't ask like off the wall.
So the next time we have an author, I'm going to ask them, if you were a cow, what would you look like?
There you go. I'll tell you, I'm a blonde cow. Okay, blonde.
Now we're going to ask that to the authors that's on our show now.
By the way,
that will come before the pissed off Aimee section.
Okay.
They're gonna go, damn, y'all are so southern.
Why'd you gotta pick a cow? Like, come on. And I don't even know why. I don't know why it's a blonde cow, but I just really like.
They're so cute. They're really cute.
It's just a crazy.
Well, y'all made me think hard today. I was thinking really hard. I got smoke coming out of my ears.
No, but you guys, I love doing the Just Us segment. We get to just kind of reconnect, wind down a little bit, check in, see however all of us are doing. And this way it gives you, the listeners, time to kind of see what we're going to be doing this fall, where you can catch us or to check in and see if it's something that might be beneficial for you. So with all that being said, happy July, everybody. Yes. Oh my gosh. So have a great week. And if you're in the States, happy 4th of July early. Yes. But until next Monday, you guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.